Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Sagittarius in the month of September 2018. Hello, Sagittarius. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. As you can see, shuffled off camera to save time. That's your main spread there. We're going to shuffle and get your outcome and your overall energy in a moment. Once all the cards are out and they're facing upwards, that's when the reading will begin. You'll find a timestamp for that moment in the description box below. Also down there is the information on how to get a personal reading with me if you are so inclined and so interested to do so. If you want to work with me, cool. Let's do it. Let's hook something up. And general housekeeping things. I'm recording this on a day where I've decided to sage. So I have the windows open and it's raining semi-heavily outside, so you're probably hearing that. You might also hear, sirens and cars and people and dogs barking, so hopefully that's not too distracting to you. But, when you sage, you definitely should have the windows open. I will say that, no matter what the weather is outside. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get an outcome and an overall for you, Sagittarius, for September 2018. Outcome for Sagittarius, September 2018, please. Oh, nice. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. Oh, what is that? Sorry, got something on my little digit there. Alright, Sag, you only had one card face down, so let's go and flip that now and see what you got. I don't have a nail anymore. Let's go. There we go. Alright. Lots of people. Okay. Where is Sagittarius, please? Please show me where Sagittarius is. Here? Alright, thank you. Coming in to September, Sagittarius, you come in as the High Priestess. So that's nice. In a way, I guess. It's your only major on the board, so that might be significant for some of you. But the High Priestess is a card that talks about knowledge that is known but not necessarily expressed or disseminated to others or communicated. It's also a card associated with the occult and the esoteric in life, and it's also a card of intuition. And Sag, I think you might be seeking this right now, particularly this gaze right now as I'm looking at it is a look of I want it, I want more, I want to know, I need to know, or I need to understand. So some of you might be on this kick or this strand right now, or line, path. Thank you. Jeez. You might be on this path of trying to understand something or gain further knowledge into a situation or on a certain subject matter. For some of you, you might be learning tarot. You might be getting into certain studies of religion or philosophy or spirituality. She does have that book there with Alpha and Omega, so it's the book of everything, and all the knowledge of the universe is in that book. So some of you, not on that grand a scale where you want to know the ends, the beginnings and the ends of the universe and everything in between, but you certainly want to know something that is profound, that is life-altering in a way. You're on this path, or you're on this journey of wanting and seeking more, which is definitely in your wheelhouse, Sag. You are the eternal student or learner of the Zodiac. You definitely want to get out there and experience life and get involved, because your involvement in your first-hand experience gives you that worldly knowledge that you crave. So many times, Sag, in your life, you're going to be someone, or you're going to be interested in, travel is one of the things I've known many Sagittariuses to be interested in, is traveling, whether that's a weekend getaway to a mountain in your home state or your home country or whatever, or whether it's like actually packing up your entire life and like spending 4 months living in the in the Amazon or something like that, you know. So you have this desire of wanting to understand, wanting to know more, wanting to seek certain enlightenment. And I think the focus, because I'm noticing this now, the focus for you is balance, because she's got this yin and yang symbol in her third eye area, right? The High Priestess. So for me, Sag, I'm taking that as like, where things have been unbalanced before, you're now seeking ways to bring balance to them. Now, I've been speaking in kind of grand terms of like your philosophy on life, or your spirituality in life, or just bigger picture things. This might not actually go that far for some of you. Some of you, this might be very micro. This might be very focused on a specific situation or relationship in your life, where maybe things have been imbalanced in your home life. So you've been working too much, and your husband or your wife is like kind of feeling lonely. So now you're trying to find ways to bring balance back to that relationship. You are learning different ways of how you can do your job from like a telecommunication, right? So for some of you, maybe your job takes you like an hour and a half to get to every day, which means you're not coming home until like 7 or 8 o'clock at night sometimes. And that is really straining on your marriage or on your relationship. It doesn't have to be a marriage, whatever. So now you're trying to research ways in which you can do your job from home maybe 2 or 3 times a week and only have to go into the office, you know, a few days. Do you see what I mean? For others, it could be a self-contained energy. There's something within you is imbalanced, or hasn't had a lot of structure to it, or hasn't had a lot of like, I'm feeling like firmness or stability. And so in some cases, maybe you have been out of work and now you need to find a job, or you've been looking, but you haven't been looking so seriously, or what you've been looking at hasn't really had this goal in mind of yours, which is to bring balance in your life. Like, sure, you could have worked, you know, any run-of-the-mill job in the service industries or customer service or retail. You could have gotten any of those jobs. You could have gotten a dozen of those, you know, in the time that you've been unemployed. But you've known, Sagittarius, that if you did that, it wouldn't bring you this balance and this enlightenment and this kind of bigger, broader, more fulfilled, enlightened. It just wouldn't have made you feel bigger, if that makes sense. Like, you would have felt contained. You would have felt smaller. You would have, held back. So you're looking for a job that won't hold you back. You're looking for conditions in your job that won't hold you back from being a great spouse or being a great parent. Whatever you do next, whatever you're going towards next, Sagittarius, or whatever you're working on consciously or constructively right now, is for your expansion. You want more, or whatever you're doing, you want it to allow you to do more, okay? So whatever you're doing next, whatever you're working on, is not in the interest of constriction. It's in the interest of expansion and openness, okay? The path maybe was narrow before, maybe a little rigid or jagged or rough. Now you're like, I want an open path. I want it to be paved. I want it to be a little bit, not necessarily easier to navigate, but just like, you want to have options. You want to have enough room to breathe, to move, to, if you want to, you know, dance down your path, you want room for that. If you want to run, if you want to, you know, get down and do an army crawl, whatever. However you move down this path, you don't want to be forced to navigate it in one particular way. Okay, we got there, because yes, one particular way. If you know everything from alpha to omega, if you know everything from the beginning to the end, you can navigate any way you want. But if you only know alpha, or you only know omega, or you only know a little bit of the parts in between, you are then restricted, because then you believe, you have the perception, that it can only go this way. I can only move through life this way. And Sagittarius, God, that would irk you to death. It would make you feel so horrible if you were ever to fully believe or be presented with circumstances that say you can only do it this way. That would drive you crazy. Okay? So that openness, that expansiveness, that ability to have options and different methods in which to approach your life is what you're after. We got there. We got there. And that's kind of fitting because right above you is the Two of Wands, right? And that kind of mirrors, I think, or at least is the outward manifestation or the outward representation of what's going on with you in the High Priestess. The Two of Wands is this card of, well, I've got options, I've got choices, I've got roads I need to walk down, but I don't know which one I'm going to choose. Is it going to be A? Is it going to be B? Because he's got two wands. In your case, Sagittarius, is probably more than two choices. It's probably like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 choices. But the idea behind this card, or behind this energy, excuse me, is choices. Choices, choices, choices. And for many other people in different zodiacs, and even for some of you Sagittarius, choice can be anxiety. You know, choice can be like, oh my God, I have so many choices, I don't know what to do. And the Seven of Cups isn't here, because usually that's what the Seven of Cups talks about. But here, I feel like the Two of Wands is like, yes, choice, yes, I want it. I want these choices. I want to have these options. I want to have these different opportunities set before me, and I have to negotiate or kind of use my intuition to follow. Intuition with the High Priestess. I need to use my intuition to understand where I'm going to go next. And you're at that point. You're at that, like, that tipping point or that fork in the road moment where am I going to go left? Am I going to go right? Am I going to go more than a fork? What's that? That's a crossroads. So, right? Or an intersection. Let's say it's an intersection. So you can go left, you can go right, you can go straight ahead, or you can turn around and go back where you came from. Or you can just stand in the middle, or in your case, Sagittarius, you can set up shop and like build a rocket in the middle of the intersection, and then you can go up. Or you're going to dig a hole and become an excavator, and you're going to go down, whatever. That's where you are, or that's sort of the, like I said, the outward manifestation of your true starting point, which is this High Priestess energy. Outwardly, you're like, all right, I'm ready to make moves. I'm poised to make a decision. I'm poised to make a choice. And the look of this guy, one of the appearances of Freddie Mercury in this deck. I feel he looks a lot like Freddie Mercury. Anyway, he looks ready, right? He's like, I'm ready. I'm ready. Look at my fancy little ballet suit and my pointed toes, and I'm looking so cool. I'm ready. He's got the sun peeking out from some clouds behind him, so there's like a turning point for you, Sag, I think, or a certain coming out. Thank you, a coming out, a new arrival of Sagittarius is what I'm feeling. It's like maybe you've been in this space. Yes, thank you. Yes, I don't always like look at the board completely. I just flip the cards and we go. But now I look down and I'm like, oh, yes, got it. So you're making transitions, right? Sagittarius, this guy, his chest is orientated towards the right-hand side of the board, and the left is we don't want that. So your reading is very straightforward. Thank you. Because other readings haven't been that way. Anyway, so you are in this position, Sag, where you're coming out. You're coming back to. It is a Wands energy, so you're coming back to your element at least. Maybe not your full potential energy of Sagittarius, but you are coming back to your element, which is fire, which is dynamic, which is about movement, which is about making moves and not plotting, but like acting on whatever goals you've set, whatever ideas that you have in your mind, taking them up and running with them, taking the ball and running with it. Okay, so you're ready. Like this is the card of I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm ready. You came from the Eight of Swords. doom and gloom sort of. Not so nice energy, not so pleasant energy of being traditionally restricted, or having this perception of being restricted, having this perception of being stuck in a certain situation, in a certain relationship, whatever, in a certain mind frame, because it is swords dealing with mental capacities. So, but you're moving away from that. Two of Wands is like, I'm done with this. Like, kind of dismissively, I'm done with this. But it is significant because it did show up and we should talk about it. So, the difference between this and the traditional Rider-Waite depiction of this card is there are two people here. And that usually, when this card comes up, is quite significant that there are two people. So, it's you and someone else, or you and multiple people, or it's a situation where maybe you're not the primary focus, but you are aware of. So, let's say you're a young person, or, well, whatever. You're just a person and you've got parents. This could be your parents having a fallout. This could be the dissolvement of a marriage that isn't your own, but it is significant enough to affect you, Sagittarius. So you are witnessing two people, either you are a part of it or you are witnessing two people kind of not seeing eye to eye. Someone's walking away. Someone's left staring at these swords, staring at the disarray and the confusion and the debaclement or the discombobulation of a situation, and it's just not pleasant. It's just not pleasant. Now that was very specific about relationships and, you know, like I said, a divorce or a dissolvement of a relationship, but it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be, this could be you and a friend and you're having a fight or an argument or a fallout, right? This doesn't have to be love in the romantic sense. It can be love in a platonic sense. And for those where it's not necessarily a significant relationship, the fact that there are two people here, it could be your own more about that. Give me more about that. Yeah. Like, for some, this is like, you're, for lack of a better phrasing, you're like divorcing yourself. God, I don't like that, but okay, fine, let's go with that. You're divorcing yourself. What do I mean by that? Because you're not a sign of duality. You're not like a Libra, or excuse me, you're not like a, well, yeah, Libra, you're not like a Gemini or a Pisces. You're not a sign of duality. You're a self-contained energy, or you're a very individualistic energy. You might be one of the most individual signs of all, Sag. But what I'm getting is, like, maybe there was a disappointment within yourself and you're having to divorce away from that energy or away from that mindset that you've held. Because, again, one is walking away and one is remaining and standing there and dealing with the fallout, dealing with this array of swords, right? So part of you, Sag, is sort of being put to bed or being released, and this other side of you, which is a little bit more stoic, in this card, come on, focus, thank you. Oh, don't be like that. There we go. This female figure would be the more, I guess, stoic or brave or not confrontational, but like the steelier side of you, the side of you that says, all right, let's deal with the bull. Let's deal with all of this stuff. And not necessarily like this female figure is jumping for joy at this task, but she's going to do it no matter what. So part of you, Sag, is being released, let go, put to bed, walking away. And another part of you, slightly reluctant but certainly capable, is stepping up to the plate to deal with this fallout, to deal with this mess that is your mental standpoint or your mental point of view, okay? So something previous in your life, however long ago, was bothersome to you. It held you back. It restricted you. You felt trapped. You felt incapable of being who you were. Okay? restricted in that sense of your true self. Gosh, now you're getting deep with me. Now you're not so straightforward, Sag. I knew it would come. But part of you was feeling like, I can't be who I want to be. I can't realize my life the way I want to realize it. I can't live as... For some of you, this might be a sexuality thing. This might be about coming out, actually coming out of the closet for some of you. But you just couldn't be who you wanted to be. You couldn't love who you wanted to love. You couldn't express yourself the way you wanted to express yourself. And for reasons that you partially, if not wholly, accepted into yourself, meaning you co-signed to it, meaning you accepted it, you played it down. So if it is a situation where you're coming out as gay, where you're coming out as trans, where you're coming out as lesbian, or whatever, or in some cases, you know, just to be fair to everybody, some of you might be coming out as asexual or pansexual or, you know, something like that. You've had to realize the truth about yourself, and then you had to put away this false side of yourself, or this side of yourself that was creating the 8 swords, was creating the restriction, because you were playing a role, because you were playing into someone else's expectations or into someone else's perceptions. And that's not how Sagittarius should live, bottom line. I don't know any Sagittarius who would do well to put on face, to put on masks, to act in a certain way because it benefits someone else. That would destroy a Sag's nature. I don't care if it's your sexuality or something else. It could be anything. If you're not true to yourself, Sagittarius, you are not living, basically. And that's kind of where you were. So that was for those where it was like a singular energy, where this is like you're divorcing yourself. You're putting a part of yourself to bed, or you're, you know, excommunicating a part of yourself, whatever. For others where it was an actual relationship, romantic or otherwise, you were really close with someone, and you lost yourself in that relationship. You lost a sense of who you were. You lost a sense of your own independence, your own identity, and you kind of absorbed or allowed yourself to be eclipsed by this other person. And now they've walked away, or you've pushed them out, kicked them out, whatever the circumstance is, and now you're having to divorce yourself from that energy of the other person, and you're having to regain and rebuild and restructure your foundations, because as you can see, the foundation here is just a big puddle, and you can't really build much on that, so you're going to have to dry up all that energy, all that water, which is associated with emotions, right? You're going to have to get some concrete or some something, and you're going to have to smooth out that foundation so that you can begin again, so that you can get over this, so that you can get into this Two of Wands energy. Now, I feel you're already here. For many of you, not all, but many of you are already here in the High Priestess, in the Two of Wands. I feel that you're already here. We're only talking about this to bring context to the situation. For some of you, you're not here yet. You will be, or you will be making moves to get here. And hopefully this is like resonating with you. It kind of affirms something or confirms some things for you. All right? And the foundation of the 8 of Swords is the Prince of Cups, equivalent to the Knight of Cups in the traditional Rider-Waite deck. And the Knight of Cups is about emotional offers, emotional messages, going out and exploring the world from this heartfelt space, from this lovey-dovey, like sort of, like a Romeo kind of thing, like tragic love sometimes. And maybe that was what was going on with you, Sagittarius, is where this was a romantic situation. Maybe you had a tragic love. Maybe you had a tragic attraction to someone, or they had it towards you. It is a Cups card, so it could be a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces person, but it doesn't have to be. And so that attachment was deep, dark, brooding. Look at that. Look at that card. Look at that guy. Why are you focusing so poorly today? You were doing so well yesterday. Anyway, so deep, dark, and brooding is this guy, is this cup, right? New camera, by the way. That's why the video is going to have slightly different quality. But anyway, so the attachment to this person or this relationship, or them to you or you to them, whatever way it falls out, is very possessive. Very much it's very, it's intense. it's hard to shake. It's hard to even comprehend, which is interesting because it comes right next to the High Priestess. So it, in some ways, has been inexplicable to you or to them, Sag, where I love you, but I don't know why. I'm attracted to you. I don't know why. I've been with you for 15 years. I don't know why. You know, it's hard to really articulate. And it was so dark, so deep. I don't think necessarily toxic. That's not what I'm getting. I'm not getting dark and deep like in a necessarily or an overwhelmingly negative sense. I'm just getting it in a very compelling sense. Like very, if this person said jump, you said how high, and you were happy to say how high. You were like, yes, tell me to ask me again and I'll jump 20 times in a row. Like a lot of sacrificial energy is here. A lot of energy of supply and demand is the way that's coming across. So there may have been, maybe not necessarily toxic, but there may have been like a little bit, if not a nice heaping amount of narcissism in this relationship where somebody demanded or implored a person to be a certain way. Like I said, behaviorally, acting in a way that benefited someone else, that pleased someone else. Okay? And for Sagittarius, again, I don't see that that it should have been you, but it could have been you. You know, we all go through different phases in our lives, different modes in our life where we aren't who we naturally are, or we become someone different. Oh my God, Sagittarius, you're so different now that you're dating so-and-so. Maybe some of your friends or family have told you that. Ever since you met him or ever since you met her, you've been totally different. And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I love this. Stockholm Syndrome. Woo! Not literally. I hope to God that wasn't literally your case. You got kidnapped and fell in love. But you see what I mean? You were so captivated by this person, so wrapped up in their energy that you became someone else. And they held you, or you held them. It could be you to them. It doesn't have to be them to you. And it was just intense, incredibly intense. And again, this doesn't have to be a romantic situation. I've seen it plenty of times where people make friends, just freaking friends, and they become a different person. I love skeet shooting. Excuse me? What? Skeet shooting. I love it. Because that guy likes it? No, I love it. You've never shot a gun in your life. You've never wanted to do that a day in your life. I've known you for 25 years, Barbara. What are you talking about? I love skeet shooting. You have never mentioned it before. We're going to go hunting next week. Excuse me? You were a member of PETA for like 18 years. What are you talking about? We're going hunting. You're crazy. I'm sorry. So for some of you, that might be what's going on. It's like, or what had happened. It could still be going on for some of you, but for many, I think it's like what has happened. And you're kind of like getting your confirmation, or you're getting your realization now. It's like, oh yeah, I did pick up some habits, and I did pick up some hobbies from the other person that were not mine, and you're like going back over that, or you're having to unplug from it. Thank you. Here in the Eight of Swords, you're slowly unplugging. This person has walked away. You've kicked them out. You walked away. They kicked you out. Whatever, and it's over. And again, it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be, you know, friends. It can be roommates. You know, the lease is up. You're not renewing. You're moving out. Done. Now, on the other side of you, which again, you're in the central energy here. This line in the center. On the other side, you've got. Where are we going first? All right. So you've got the Prince of Pentacles. Thank you. Hello. So, in some cases where you had this Prince of Cups in the past, in some cases you got a Prince of Pentacles coming up. An Earth sign, potentially a Taurus, Virgo, or a Capricorn. Potentially. Doesn't have to be. But this person, if it is someone that you're going towards, or that's coming into your life, or that you're kind of getting to know right about now, or sometime a little bit after September, this person is... Well, number one, he's dark and dashing and all that stuff. Very similar to Prince of Cups, right? Look at them. They could be cousins. If this was... Because didn't I call Prince of Cups Romeo or something like that? Is this like Mercutio? Who's Romeo's friend? in the play. Mercutio? I can't remember. And as a former English major, I'm only slightly ashamed. Not true, I'm not ashamed at all. I didn't read much Shakespeare in college anyway. Anyway, this person, I went on a tangent there, so in some of your cases, they may be actual relatives, or they might be close friends, or they may know each other. If these are two people that you know, they may know each other. There may be a little bit of a history there, or some type of tie there, and it's kind of soap opera-y, Shakespearean. Oh my god, you're gonna date his brother now? And you're like, yep, I'm gonna date his brother. But in other cases, it's not about actual ties, but it is about a similarity, because like I said, they're both princes. They both have this dark, Prince Charming, dapper kind of look, right, between the two of them. You can take your pick on, like, which one is most attractive to you, if at all. But whoever you might be going towards, if it's an external person, in a romantic sense, in a non-romantic sense, whatever, practical, smart, charming. In some cases, like, this person likes a debate. This person likes to have friendly debates, friendly arguments. Like, this is a person who, when you go out to drinks with them at a bar, like, it's really going to be, you're drinking, like, over several hours in a booth, at a table. You're not at the bar, chatting it up with the bartender, talking to the other people coming in on a Thursday, Friday night. Like, this person is like, let's go out to drinks. Like, they would be more like, let's go to a lounge and, like, just talk. Just talk about life, okay? This person is not very showy, but has a lot to show, if that makes sense. Okay, well, let me unpack that. They're not showy. They're not bragging. They're not over the top, exuberant or extroverted, but they have a lot. They have a lot of character. They have a lot as far as, like, earthly possessions. Like, maybe they're really good with their money. They have, like, a nice little 401k set up. Or they have, considerable savings, or they have a nice house, they have a nice car, they have a certain hobby, like maybe, or in some cases, like maybe they really dress well, they have wonderful taste in fashion, whatever. But that's not what they put forward, or that's what they don't want to be known for. They don't want to be appreciated for those things, primarily. They want to be understood for their... They want to be appreciated for their character. They're giving. They are giving, so they are generous. They're smart. They're intelligent. They're attractive. Okay? They know all of that. But they don't want it to be like one of those things over the other. So don't be with me because I have money. Or don't come to me because you know I have money. Or don't be interested in me because you know I'm really smart and you want somebody on, like, your quiz bowl team, or like your what do you call those, pub quiz teams or whatever. Don't come to me, like, don't make me your, lifeline on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire just because you know I'm, like, in Mensa or something. They want it to be a culmination of all of those things that you appreciate them for, that you like them for, that you come to them and engage with them for. Because, and the reason I'm saying all this is because this person is slightly guarded. Slightly. Because in the card, he's got his arms crossed, right? So he's smart, he's debonair, he's attractive, he's all those things, but he's also got his arms crossed. Meaning he's, like, really savvy. He's really shrewd. And I'm saying he, it doesn't have to be a man. This doesn't have to be a man either. Gender is irrelevant. I'm only talking because, or I'm only using these pronouns because of what's on the card. Okay? Prince. That's usually a man. It's usually a male. But it does not have to be. So this person is a little reserved. Quiet. In some cases. Quiet. And there's a wealth to them, not necessarily money, but there's like a wealth as like a richness to them, a depth to them. Like, oh my God, it's so amazing. This person is so interesting, but it's quiet. It's calm. It's not showy. It's not out there in your face. You like it's like digging for gold. You gotta chip away. You gotta be down in the mines, serving like a 14-hour day and hoping the canary doesn't like, well, that's for coal, but whatever. You have to work to get those arms to drop, to get that defense to drop. You have to work at it, and that's okay because you're attracted to them anyway. Again, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could just be a new friend. It could be someone that you're working with. It could be someone that who's a mentor to you. There's a lot. Even though it's just a prince, I think there's a lot that you could learn from this person, or that they can learn from you, or vice versa, whatever. And it's great. I like it. I like it a lot for you, Sagittarius. I really do. Yeah. He's a winner. I like him. Or her. And above is the Princess of Swords. Now, who's this? Who this? For some of you, this could be a choice between two people, romantically or otherwise. It could be you've got a Princess of Swords, potential air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, but it doesn't have to be. Somebody who, similarly to the Princess, or excuse me, the Prince of Cups, God, I can't speak, the Prince of Pentacles, there we go. Very similar energy. Princesses, of course, are equivalents to pages in the traditional tarot. So this person would be similar to the Prince of Pentacles. Similar in the sense of a lot is beneath the surface. But this person is a little bit more aloof, a little bit more detached, a little bit more, fun and fancy free. Even though she looks very intense, she looks very serious. I mean, look at that hair. Like, she's like auditioning to be in like a Flock of Seagulls revival almost, or like a revival of Dallas or something. Like, this person is a little bit more, I think, adventurous. Would be definitely more extroverted than the Prince of Pentacles. And some of you are choosing between these two people. Princess and Prince of Cups. Or, why do I keep saying Prince of Cups? He's over here. We don't care about him. Prince of Pentacles. And maybe I'm saying it so much because Prince of Cups is maybe like still in your vicinity. Like not letting you go. Or you're not letting them go. Whatever. But, excuse me. So these might be two people that you've met on the job, met at school, or that you're on dating apps and like, you're keeping your option. I don't want more. I don't want just one option. I want more than one option. So for some of you Sagittarius, that's what you're doing. You're getting back out there in the dating world. You're getting back out there in social circles. You're meeting new people. And these are just two people that have caught your fancy, that have caught your eye. And you're like, oh my God, I like this guy. And I like her. And in some cases, like going back to the whole sexuality thing, it could be that, like, maybe some of you didn't come out as gay or lesbian or trans or well, excuse me, I just conflated those, I'm sorry. Maybe some of you didn't come out as gay or lesbian. Maybe some of you came out as bisexual or, what do you call that? Not pansexual, omnisexual, however. So many sexuals these days, I can't keep up. Anyway, and maybe you literally are looking at two people of different genders. Or different. They're different. They're similar, but they're also very different. And you're like, oh my God, but this person, and I like them because of this. Oh, but this person, I like them because of that. And in some ways, they share energies because they're both a prince and a princess, meaning they're still both learning. They're still both in some degree apprentices. So this could be like a student situation. You're in college, they're in college, or you're in grad school, they're in grad school. Everybody's still finding their bearings in life, trying to find their footing in life. But the Princess of Swords is, like I said, a little bit more extroverted, a little bit more on the go. Like the Prince of Pentacles, you can kind of clock him. You can kind of like predict his life in some ways. Not to say that he's boring, but to say like he has certain rhythms and patterns in his life that he appreciates, that he cultivates and he works on. So this could be somebody who has like a strict gym routine or somebody who has like a strict diet and they do not waver from that. And it's a part of their life and they will not change it for anybody. And I'm sorry, but every day at like 4:45, I will be at Planet Fitness getting my gym on. And you're like, oh, but I want to go see this movie. I'm sorry, I'm at the gym. And not to say like he wouldn't ever not go to the gym and go do something with you, Sag, but that's what I mean, is like, he's a lot more structured. The Princess of Swords would be less structured. would still have a firm head on her shoulders, would still have this energy of, like I said, wealth and like richness behind her character. Like this is not some, both of these people are people of substance, basically. But the Princess of Swords would be a little more adventurous, and a little more challenging, right? That is not the look of somebody who is like, I'm just out here having funsies for funsies. Like, sometimes it's like, no, I am going to, like, this person would, like, stir the pot purposefully to get a reaction or to see what would happen next. Okay? So this would be the person who would say to you, Sag, like the day of, 2 hours before, let's go do this. Let's go check this out. And you're like, okay, yeah, sure. Cause Sag, you would vibe on that energy a lot more of, oh, okay, let's go do that. That's it. That sounds interesting. I'll go with you. And this person would do it. And they would mean it. They would want to do this thing with you, but behind it is also this, I wonder what would happen if I just drop this on Sagittarius's lap. And boom. It's like a social experiment in a way. Because they want to know the limits, right? She's got her sword, she's got her bird of prey, and that's about, the bird of prey specifically for me is about limitations. How high can that bird fly? How far can it fly? In what conditions will it be able to catch its prey best? Can a bird of prey, snatch a field mouse, in the dead of night? Like, this person is always wondering things, and that's typical of air signs. It doesn't have to be an earth sign here or an air sign here, but the energies of the person. This person is constantly wondering, what if this? What if that? I wonder if you added this to that, or I said this to them and they did that, blah, blah, blah. It's like a regular thing for them, is to wonder what's next, to wonder what happens if I do this, what happens if they do that, etc., etc. So again, the prince would be a lot more predictable, stable, strong foundation. And in your eyes, Sagittarius, being a fire sign, maybe a little less fun than the Princess of Swords. But the Princess of Swords, like I said at the top when I first introduced her, is more aloof, is more detached. So you have to think about that. Now, again, that doesn't have to be a romantic situation. That could just be two people that you're getting to know. Two people that you're like, oh my God, like maybe you are in grad school and these people are a part of your cohort. Or these are two people that you're going to be working closely with on a research project. And you'll have to understand that Prince of Pentacles, he might be a little slower, he might be a little more predictable and steady in what he produces, and it might not ever be fantastic. He might not ever have the biggest, best, brightest ideas, but he's dependable, reliable, okay? The person who has the big bombastic ideas, the fantastic breakthroughs, or the perfect idea of how to present the material might be the Princess of Swords, but because she lacks this focus and this structure, she might, go off on a tangent. She might go MIA for a day or two. You're like sending messages like, hey, we're working on this project and we need your contribution, and she won't reply to you because she's off doing something else. And she, and sometimes, will neglect or become forgetful of her responsibilities. I hope that makes sense to you, okay? Now, for those where it's... Over here, I felt there was this idea that it could be this internal energy, and I still believe that. Over here, this is less internal. This is definitely more you're going out and you're dealing with other people. If it's not, if you're like the most no offense, if you're like one of the most antisocial Sagittariuses ever, and these are not new people that you're getting to know or people that you're interested in knowing, this could just be the energy of you, and you're having to negotiate between these two energies, kind of alternate between them, and use them for your best outcome, or to get you to where you want to go on that crossroads or that intersection that you're standing in with the Two of Wands, okay? That's for a few of you, if any of you. Like, again, I would challenge, I'd be curious, who out there is a Sagittarius and you're not social? That you don't like or hang out with other people on a regular basis? I mean, maybe you have like some extended periods where you're by yourself, but Sag, you're a social creature. What can I say? Now, your outcome is interesting. Outcome for September is the 8 of Cups. What's going on? So you might hit like a rough patch, or you might hit a snag if this is like a dating scenario. You're interested in these two people, but maybe there's like a ghosting that goes on between you and them, or both of them, or everybody just kind of falls off the map, and you're kind of like, "Aw, but I wanted that." And and the reason I say it like that is because this card has come up a few times for some signs, and I've had to clarify the traditional understanding of this card, and it's been almost consistently this way, is that in the traditional Rider-Waite, it's a person who's like, there's like the 8 cups stacked in the foreground, and someone like has a cloak on and they're walking off in the distance. This is not that. This is a person who is sitting amongst this sort of, these cups that are like washed ashore. Some are standing, some are fallen off. There's a boat behind him that's a wreck now. It's like not even almost recognizable as a boat. And he looks like he was maybe like, not a ship captain, maybe a ship captain, like like I'm getting like the captain of a yacht, or like a private. Yeah, he was just like, I'm getting like a Playboy thing with that jacket and those shoes and those pants. And it's like sitting in it. Instead of moving on, there's like this feeling of sitting in it. And so for some of you, it could be you're sitting in like this, not panning out with one or both of these people, or you're sitting here still in the past, in this big time release from your own energy, or the energy of the Prince of Cups, Mr. Dark and brooding, and Mr. Intense and control, and oh my god. And again, I slipped up and I said the name of that card several times as I was talking about the future, or the potential of the future, which means there still could be this energy of someone basically being like, oh man, he won't go away. Okay? Some of you like literally can't dodge this person, literally can't get them to leave you the hell alone. Okay? And that could be what this is. This could be, I want to get over you, but you keep calling me, you keep texting me, you keep sliding into my DMs, like, get off my Instagram, yo, leave me alone. And they won't. Or you won't leave them alone. Or you're out here having a good time with other people you're dating around, but internally you're still like, because the constant with the 8 of Cups is emotional dissatisfaction, not feeling as if you're getting what you want, getting what you deserve. You're not happy. You're not contented. Okay? And for most of the signs that this has shown up for, it's been an energy of staying here, being stuck here, not releasing, not being able to be released. Someone is holding you there, okay? So be wary. I think still you're going to have fun here, or you have the potential of fun here. You have the potential of newness here. Embrace it. Go with it. Don't, just because that's your outcome. Everything in tarot is mutable. Everything in tarot is changeable. Nothing is set in stone. So that is a potentiality. It doesn't have to be that way. And even if it is that way, it's only temporary, right? Overall energy for the month is the 4 of Wands. So for September, again, talking to what I connected to here in the yin and yang sign, in the forehead or the third eye area of the High Priestess, excuse me, is this idea of balance. 4 of Wands, balance, structure. Often talks about the foundations of your home life, or your building towards a future romantically with someone. And I think, Sag, this is sort of like, I'm getting like a dream space, because like this is like what is she doing? She's striking this ballerina yoga-ish pose in the middle of these 4 wands. You've got some pyramids in the background, and then you've got that bird up there. Like, that's just an amalgamation of things that I think sometimes permeates or finds its footing or finds its base in a dream, in what is lying under the surface, in what is subconscious. So I think this is like a background, thank you. This is like background music to your life, Sag, right now, is this Four of Wands energy. It's like when you're going out to the mall or you're somewhere and you're shopping and they've got like that overhead music, which sometimes, like most of the times, I think most people don't even acknowledge the background music or the overhead music when they're out in public. You're in an elevator. You know, it's just, it's there. But you're not sitting there in the elevator going, do, 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 do. Oh yeah, this is my jam. You're not engaging with it. It's there, but you're not engaging with it. You can acknowledge it. You're sitting there in the elevator going up to like the 30th floor. You're like, what song is this? This is, or, oh my god, I love this song. But you don't stay there forever. It's not constantly with you. When you leave the elevator, it's over. When you leave the store or the mall, it's over. So it's there, but it's not like at the forefront of your mind. And that kind of falls with the High Priestess energy where it's there. She has that full wealth of knowledge of how the magnitude of everything between the beginning and the end. That's a huge amount of information or a huge amount of knowledge. But she's not, the High Priestess doesn't sit there talking about it all day. She doesn't sit there thinking about it all day. She just knows it's there, and she will acknowledge it or deal with it or interact with it when it's necessary. Four of Wands, same thing. Your foundations, the balance that you need in your life, and the work that you want to put in towards making a better life for yourself romantically going forward, whether that's in your marriage, in a new relationship, with your friends, your family, whoever. It's there, but it's not, you're not solely focused on it. To do that, I think, would undermine what you know intuitively. It would undermine the choices that you are welcoming into your life if you constantly focused on everything that you do is about this. No, you can't. No, that would be overdoing it. That would be overthinking it. I hope that makes sense, okay? All right, Sag, that is going to be your reading for the month of September 2018. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope something resonated with you. If it did, please comment below. I'd love to hear about that. Also, hit the like button if you are compelled to do that. And also share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I've told all the other signs, and I'm not going to be any different than you or with you. One of the reasons I started this channel was because I was trying to sort of pay back to the community and to the energy of the universe that has always helped me in times of need in my life. Ever since I was a little kid and I understood what a horoscope was, I became really intrigued with zodiacs and later then with tarot and astrology and all of that stuff. And for me, it's really been a great helper. It's really been a great support, both what I've learned on my own and what I've learned from other people. And so I've gotten to a point in my life where I don't need it as much, where I'm not as, I'm not really, how can I say it? Yeah, I'm just not really needing to receive it. I'm more compelled to project it, to give it out, to offer it, I've gotten to this point where it's like, okay, I knew that was coming, and now I'm like, okay, well, now I'm in a position where I think I'm wanting to help others who may have been in situations or periods in their life where I was 10, 15, 20 years ago, if that makes sense. And so my chosen platform thus far is YouTube, and the only way to gain more people, to be open or have more people aware of who I am and what I do, again, with this chosen platform, is to open it up to saying to you guys, hey, please like the video, please comment, please subscribe, please share if you feel so. All of that to YouTube, the big machine that it is. All that says to them is, oh, more people should see this, more people should watch this, more people should engage with this content. So that is my goal. If you would like to help me along with my goal, it's not about building a brand, it's not about money, it's not about ego. It really is about, I like what I do. If 5 people watch this and that's all that watches this, that gets something out of it, that's good with me. If 50 people, that's good with me too. If it's 5,000 people, that's also good. So long as it reaches someone, I'm happy. I want it to be more, but if it isn't more, if this is like all it's ever going to be is, you know, a few hundred people, fine. That's cool with me too. But that's so that's my spiel. I'll chop it off there. All right, Sag. Thank you so much for watching up until this point. I appreciate it. I will be back in about 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm going to do your October reading at that time. And thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Bye.